welcome back to Someday I'll Have a Podcast. My name is Ren and I am your host. Someday I'll Have a Podcast is a little bit of everything, a stream of consciousness, short little show that just wants to talk about everything. It could be controversial, it could be exciting, it could be a rant, and it could be literally anything. So welcome to the chaos. I recently just moved to the big old windy city, and moving is such a process. I'm mostly telling you that so that you are forewarned that if you hear a lot of noise outside my open window, sorry in advance. If you hear sirens, if you hear babies crying, if you hear people yelling or talking, my window has to be open because my AC unit is giving me issues today. And this is a very old building, probably built in like the 50s or 60s, and I don't have central air. It's all the wonders of living in this city. But overall, it's been wonderful, and I'm so excited to be here. But in the process of moving and decorating and unpacking and reorganizing, I have been listening to a lot of YouTube creators talk about multi-level marketing, which is MLM for short. And in particular, a lot of creators who are very anti-MLM. And the reason that people would be anti-multi-level marketing, some people call it direct sales. The reason people would be very against this is because another name for this is also pyramid scheme. And pyramid schemes are illegal. I'm sure you've heard of them at least some point before. And if not, I'm going to give you a little bit of education and also share a couple of my stories in today's episode. Because I feel like we've also probably all been approached by someone in an MLM before, trying to be recruited into their quote unquote business. And I just feel like, the more you know, the better you can avoid these predatory business models and companies, if you can call them that. The definition of pyramid scheme by Merriam-Webster Online is a form of investment, illegal in the U.S. and elsewhere, in which each paying participant recruits further participants, with returns being given to early participants using money contributed by later ones. And that's extremely complicated, so let me just put it in layman's terms. I don't know why they had to make that so complicated. Basically, one person starts the business, say, let's sell products, let's sell cosmetics, yay, and it'll be beautiful, and we can give away pink Cadillacs to the people who sell the most products. This person starts their business. They'll get the cosmetics from a manufacturer, but then they recruit a few other people to be their downline. And every time they recruit someone new, they get a percentage of the money from these new recruits paying for their starter kit. Yes, paying to quote unquote start a business within this company. And after that, those new recruits buy a starter kit, buy a bunch of product generally, and then sell their products while also recruiting more people, so that they get a percentage of the new recruits' startup kit and inventory, and et cetera, et cetera. So the people at the very top make the most money because they are profiting from every single new recruit, while the people at the very bottom struggle to find people to sell their items to, as well as find people to recruit. So it's generally framed as starting your own business, or this girl boss mentality of being your own boss, when in reality, you're just purchasing products to sell when you're on a little team where really only the upline and the highest of the highest people in the pyramid, because it turns out to be a pyramid shape, are the ones making the money. I'm sure you've heard of a few of them before. My main experience that I'm going to touch on here was with the brand Mary Kay, because I did not unintentionally talk about a pink Cadillac a moment ago. They really, their top sellers and top performers, or top recruiters, I guess, some of them can win pink Cadillacs. And generally, the people who are doing the recruiting paint this beautiful picture of what this company can bring you if you just pay to start your own business. which generally, like I said, is buying a starter kit. I was approached when I was working in retail by a Mary Kay consultant. And while she was wonderfully sweet, wonderfully kind, it always is a little predatory. And I say that because, again, only the people at the top sections are the ones making the money. And a lot of the time, these people who are doing the recruiting prey on young women, single mothers, military wives, people who are looking for community, people who are looking for a way to supplement their income, and just often vulnerable people. And a lot of times, women fall into those categories. A lot of these companies are also aimed at women, such as cosmetics, clothing lines, and baby products. And I mean, the list really does go on, but there's weight loss ones, essential oil MLMs, kitchenware MLMs, like you name it, there's an MLM for it. So I was approached by this lady, and she started talking to me while I was in the store by myself and showing me these videos of her at this recent Mary Kay conference and how she's in the top sales and she's wonderful at her job and she's on her way to her pink Cadillac and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is wonderful. This is great. Like, you know, I'm just making conversation. There's not a lot else going on in the store at the moment. So, you know, I'm humoring her. The conversation goes on. Eventually, she tells me she's looking for models to give a little makeover to and test out the latest collection of Mary Kay products, to then submit these photos of her models to be part of like the Mary Kay magazine. And I'm like, I crave the spotlight. Put me in the magazine, put me on a TV, put me on a stage. Like, now she's speaking my language. However she found that out about me, I have no idea. But she knew, I guess, to, you know, make it sound appealing to me. So eventually I'm like, yeah, sure, like that sounds like fun. And at the time, I'm like launching my YouTube channel. I'm still figuring out, you know, what kind of content I want on my channel, my vlog. And I'm like, sure, like that would be really cool to have a little makeover, have a photo shoot, and like document the whole thing for my vlog. You know, so, you know, people know the name Mary Kay. People might click on that video. Like, and these are all the things that are going through my head while she's, you know, selling me on this. So I agree to go to her house and, you know, do this makeover. And eventually the day comes and I go there and I'm recording everything, which was like super cool at the time. But it basically, the whole makeover experience, yeah, sure, she put some products on me. She had me wash my face and like do this little facial, this like peel off face mask, which was cool. And then she had me put on like foundation and try out a new lipstick color and like a different concealer and mascara. And like it was cool for sure, but it also was like totally not what she had promised. I'm thinking she's gonna like take me to like a different room with like a backdrop, or like in her backyard where like there's foliage, and like take these photos, and like it really did not turn into that. It really turned into me trying the products, which was cool. You know, I got the makeover. I got a nice little rejuvenation of my skin. But it really just ended up being this sales pitch. And by the end of the day, I'm just sitting there with like my face covered in this makeup I wouldn't usually wear. I don't put foundation on. I'm not a full face of makeup kind of gal. And I went into it like figuring that I would buy a product or two. Like, you know, I knew what Mary Kay was. I knew it was cosmetics, and I did buy a couple of products from her. It was great. But then just trying to sell me on this, you know, buy a startup kit. And if you don't end up selling it to anybody, then you at least have this $100 worth of products for yourself. You know, you just tried this collection and you loved it, didn't you? And now you could have it for yourself for this low price of $100. And if there's products you're not going to use in here, like you could sell it to your friends and family and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I already like committed to buying these products that I did actually genuinely enjoy. So like, can't you leave it at that? But she's like, okay, so like, tell me why, like what's turning you off about this idea of buying a startup kit and, you know, trying to sell it for yourself? I don't know. She's like, oh, well, that, this, that, and the other. And just kind of combating all the reasons I give her of why I'm not interested in buying this $100. Like, a bitch is broke. Like, I'm literally probably 19 at the time and, like, literally working retail, just trying to get by, pay my tuition, pay my room and board, save some money for when I go back to college. Like, I'm doing my summer job, whatever. And basically, she's not taking no for an answer. She eventually asks me to write down the name and numbers of other people that she could reach out to do a makeover or to like sell the products to, and that these are people I could also sell the products to. And I'm like, whatever. And then I feel bad for giving like the name and number of like my aunt and my mom and whatever. But I eventually leave there with like a little thought in my head, like maybe this could be cool. And yeah, if I don't sell all of these products, like maybe I could just save them for myself. And if I run out, I run out. So I finally get home from this woman's house and I'm talking to my mom about it. And I'm like, yeah, like it might be a cool opportunity. Like it is only $100. You know, like if it's an investment, like it might be a good idea because, you know, they always frame it as it's an investment and it's your business and you can be your own boss, babe, blah, 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 blah. And my mom's like, girl, no. Because apparently, once upon a time, she and my dad almost got looped into something like this too, of spending like all this money, basically just to lose all this money. And part of me was like, yeah, but like it might be cool. And like I do have friends. I have friends from my high school. I have friends that live in my residence hall. I have friends in the organizations that I'm with that are like largely women based of people that I could sell this to. And basically my mom was like, it's really not a good idea, but like spend your money how you want. And eventually I decided to not go through with it as much as she kept on texting me and emailing me and asking when the vlog would be up, which I never ended up editing and uploading because in the end, it didn't feel like a good experience. It felt like she deceived me with what I was getting myself into. Like she had told me I was going to have this photo shoot and makeover experience. And while some of that was true, it just didn't feel like, what was I supposed to say at the end of that video? Like, I didn't become a Mary Kay consultant, but like, it was a fun time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just really weird. And like, I even considered doing a truth about Mary Kay video where I explained like it was deceptive and it wasn't anything of what she had promised. But then I felt bad, like kind of throwing her under the bus like that. Even though looking back now, like I really shouldn't have felt bad because like it really was like a lie essentially. And I just feel like, I don't know. She kept messaging me and was very pushy and whatever. I finally just stopped replying. She finally stopped messaging me. I still get her emails every so often to this day. Yeah, it just felt so like icky, I guess. And I don't know. I think it's important to put these experiences out there because it's really easy to be deceived and to buy into the idea that like, yeah, you can make a lot of money, but really, even if I had sold that $100 worth of products, the real money of these MLMs is when you start recruiting people. And to me, I was thinking about the people I could recruit and knowing them deeply, like my close friends and my family, like none of them would have bought into that. And if they did, it would only have been out of guilt. And nothing about that felt right to me. Like I know my aunt, probably could have sold her on something like that. And I know I probably could have got my sister involved. But at the same time, it's like I don't, like, then who are they going to sell to? And how is it really going to be sustainable for me? It's always framed as this wonderful opportunity. You can quit your job. You can win these wonderful prizes. You can work from home. Like you can work all from social media. And it's not like that. So rewinding back to the beginning of the show today where I said, like, I've been listening to a lot of, like anti-MLM creators on YouTube. I have heard some insane horror stories of people losing hundreds and thousands of dollars and having to open credit cards to pay for these startup kits and ask their family members to borrow money and all of these things that really aren't Like, it's not a job. It is a pyramid scheme where only the people at the top are profiting off of your essentially loans from your family and your friends. And like, that's just icky. It's not cool. And like, even if the products are good and like you want to buy from these people, sure, great. Like, if I really need another one of those Mary Kay freaking concealers that I bought from her, maybe I'll reach out again. But at the same time, it's like, is that going to open up a door for her to consistently bombard me again and again with these text messages about like, is now the time for you to start your business? Like, no. And a friend of mine almost got sucked into this too with a $500 startup fee recently, before she found this wonderful job that she loves, with like this water purifier. And like, at the time, I didn't want to like crush her dreams. Like, she was so excited about it, and like, she had like this mentor that she was talking to and like learning about the product and how to sell it, and like, she was excited, and I really didn't want to be the one to be like, bro, don't do it, like, you're gonna lose money. Eventually her excitement died down and she didn't buy into it, and thank God, because I just know that like the real money comes when you're recruiting people and profiting off the people that become your downline. And it just sucks. Like, some of these horror stories of like single moms buying into it because they literally can't feed their kids, but then they end up losing $1,000 because they can't get rid of the product. They don't have enough people to market it to. They end up having all this inventory in their house that they don't even have room for. And I didn't want to be a product of that. I hope nobody ever has to become a product of that ever again. There are some MLMs for like crazy expensive things. I almost got roped into one in college where I literally would have had to sell, like, do door-to-door sales in like a random state where they'll send us to, and they framed it as like, this is an internship where you could make all this money if you like put in enough effort. And looking back on it and learning more about it, totally a pyramid scheme. These young students were recruiting other young students so that they could not have to be the ones going door to door anymore. And I've heard horrible stories about that too. How like that specific company, I don't remember the name of it, Southwestern Advantage maybe? Maybe. I could be making that up, but do your own research if you want to know more. These students would literally be going door to door for like 10 hours a day trying to sell this, which A, is so unsafe in the heat because it's a summer internship. Not being allowed to like call their family, like having to pay for their own meals and only being able to do so with the money that they're receiving, like from selling these books and like whatever they are. Like, I don't know. It just seems super icky to me. And just so that everyone is aware, I'm going to name a few MLMs that I'm aware of. And I'm sorry if you hear the cicadas out the window right now. They just started because it's like dusk when I'm recording this, and they are starting to do their whole cicada thing. But I'm going to name a few MLMs that at the top of my head I can think of, just so that you can be aware. And if you want to take a chance on it, feel free. Like, there are plenty of people who, you know, obviously some people are successful at this because these companies, if you can call them that, are still in business. People are still trying to recruit others. Enter at your own risk is really what I'm trying to say. So obviously I mentioned Mary Kay as one of them. I've had a lot of people trying to recruit me to It Works, Beachbody, doTERRA, Young Living, which is like an essential oil company. Amway I've been approached about. What's that other one? Arbonne. A lot of them that are like, they market these products as if they're life-changing and they'll help your health and help you lose weight and make you more beautiful and happier, and you can live this lifestyle. Even Tupperware's one, Pampered Chef. There's literally like a billion trillion. LuLaRoe. There's documentaries on some of these now, and like things are really coming to light about these quote unquote companies, and there's so much content that you can binge watch if you want to learn more and get into the nitty gritty about a lot of these. But they're always marketed as like this wonderful business opportunity where you can, work from home, be your own boss, social media, whatever. But it really never is quite that simple. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So always do your research, do your homework. don't just sign up for something where you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Really learn it before you get into it. That's like the best takeaway I'm going to give you today. And just to be aware, like in all aspects of the phrase, but like be aware of people trying to recruit you into a pyramid scheme. They can be really dangerous. And especially if you fall into a vulnerable category of someone who's literally just trying to pay your rent or pay your bills or like leave your shitty corporate job because it's horrible. Like, just consider your other options before literally buying yourself into these companies. Yeah, that's wonderful. I think that's that. I just wanted to give a shout out to Hannah Alonso because, like I said, I've been watching a lot of YouTube creators. She's one of them that I have been literally binging lately. And she does a really good job of kind of breaking things down and sharing other horror stories. I'm going to start this new segment on the podcast where I tell you a song of the week that I've really been jamming out to. So basically, how I'm going to find that is by going into my Spotify on repeat playlist that Spotify makes for me and just tell you the top song that's been on repeat for me lately as I record this, just so you can expand your music taste. It could be something you'll hate, it could be something you'll love, but it's always something that I recommend. And if you followed the vlog at all or know me in person, like, you know that music is such a big part of like existence. And so I always want to share good music with people. And so the top song in my on repeat that I'm going to recommend for you this week is I Don't Know Shit by Jordy. On the platforms, it's IDK Shit. And it's a really good jam, especially if you're like literally just trying to figure out what the hell you're doing in your 20s, which aren't we all? Yeah, my last little plug here is just going to be that if you have any topics that you want me to cover on this podcast, because you can literally talk about anything and everything here. I always want to start a conversation. If you have some sort of reply to anything you heard today, want to share your scary story, if you have anything you want me to talk about and explore on this podcast, you can DM me on Instagram at Live and Large with L Crew. It'll be linked in the show notes. And again, I just want to connect. This is a place of connection, creation, all of those wonderful, magical things. So thank you for tuning into this rant of a podcast today. And make someday become today. Someday I'll Have a Podcast is a little bit of everything, a stream of consciousness, short little show that just wants to talk about everything. It could be controversial, it could be exciting, it could be a rant, and it could be literally anything. So welcome to the chaos.